Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I want to talk about perception. How I see the world is different to how you see the world, and how your friend sees the world, and how your parents see the world, and how your children see the world. And that's because we all have a unique filter system, a lens of reality. And this will determine what information we receive. So I'm going to break this down for you. This is an NLP concept, and this is extremely helpful information if you're someone who has patterns, behaviors, triggers in your life and you wish to change. If you wish to change circumstances and situations that seem to keep repeating, then this information is key. So when we're a child, between the ages of 0 to 7 is when we are in a theta alpha brainwave state. This is a state of hypnotic induction. This is where we're receiving information without having any ability to cognize it, to critically analyze it before it goes straight in. And so we end up with a beautiful filter system to determine our reality. Now, our reality is based on 3 factors, okay? So our beliefs, our values, and our memory or experiences. So I'm going to break that down too. Now, let's say, for example, when you were a child, you watched your parents struggle. Life is a struggle, they said to you. On a regular basis, they reminded you that life was a struggle. Life isn't easy. Life is hard. You got to work hard. Life is, unforgiving. And so your parents demonstrated this to you in their everyday life, in their actions around you. And so you took on this belief system. More than likely, this belief system was something passed down through the family. So it wasn't just your parents, it was their parents and their parents' parents, and on and on and on, all the way back through the ancestral lineage. Now, this became your belief, because by the age of 7, our beliefs crystallize, generally speaking. This means that we don't challenge them. They become part of our subconscious mind. They're an automatic thought, and they are triggered by any kind of stimulus that reminds us that life is a struggle. So what ends up happening is our beautiful filters of perception delete, distort, and generalize information to support the belief that life is a struggle. So you might go out into the world as an adult and see all of the obstacles, all of the roadblocks, all of the reasons to justify that life is a struggle. Meanwhile, your friend might be effortlessly sailing through life with ease and comfort, because they don't hold on to that belief system. So they are not filtering out all the easy and effortless circumstances and situations in their life that afford them the belief that life is easy, life is effortless. And so they have a very different life experience to yours. Now, the second factor I mentioned was values. So for example, when you were growing up, when you were a child, you might have had the situation where your family, your mother, for example, valued pleasing others, people pleasing, wearing a mask or putting on a hat or playing a role that tried to make sure that everyone around you liked you. So your mother may have demonstrated this on a regular basis, perhaps with your father. She would always put herself last. And so as an adult, you wonder why you struggle with self-care, with self-worth, with self-esteem, because you have this unconscious belief or value system of putting yourself of lesser importance, less priority, and you put others before you, people pleasing, just as your mother did. And this is a value system, what's important to you. And I'll talk about values and eliciting values in another video. But essentially, a lot of our values as adults are not actually our own choice. They are values that were passed down the family lineage, that were instilled in you when you were a child, and you learned what was important according to an outside system or an external influence. Now, a society creates values in us too. Different societies have different values. And so you might also pick up that the value of career, of wealth, of status is important to you as well. And so you strive for these values as an adult, and you wonder why you feel at odds or why you struggle, because these are not really your values. And like I mentioned, I'll do another video on values. It's a very important topic. And then the third factor that determines your filters of perception, how you see the world, your lens, is your memories or your experiences. So for example, maybe when you're a child, you grew up with your parents divorcing quite young, and they demonstrated to you that relationships were not meant to last. And as a child, that information goes straight in. You don't critically analyze it. You are treated as a black and white fact. And then as an adult, you assume before a relationship even gets started, subconsciously, that this relationship is not going to end well. And of course, this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we create a cycle in our life of rejection. And we never have a beautiful, blossoming relationship in our lives. But meanwhile, like I mentioned with beliefs, you might have a friend who doesn't hold that memory or experience. And so they do not hold a belief that relationships are doomed to failure. And so they have a wonderful relationship. Now, these three factors, beliefs, memories, and experiences and values, determine your lens, determine how you see reality. And a beautiful thing called the reticular activating system, which is a bunch of neurons in the base of your stem cell of your brain, will be able to delete, distort, and generalize information to support the reality that you have set. So, for example, let's say that you believe that life is easy and effortless, that relationships are there for the long run and they're there to support you and you can have a beautiful relationship, and that you value the highest your own self-growth, you're mastering your mind and living your heart. Well, your life, it may be very much a smoother experience than someone else. And this is where I want to encourage you. We have a thing called neuroplasticity. That means that we can rewire our brains. Our filters of perception are simply neural wiring. They're programming. So in NLP, we teach you how to change your programming. And this is something that I do for a living, and I help people with this. So I want to reassure you, you can change your rewiring, which is your personality, which is your values, your beliefs, your experiences and memories that make up who you are, your personality. You can change all of that, and you can create a much better experience or more empowering situations in your life. And so I want to leave you with that thought, because once we start to realize that we are driving our lives as an adult, we cannot blame our situations as a child anymore. We need to take responsibility and we need to take the reins. And so it starts with becoming aware of your beliefs, your memories and experiences, and your values, and determining if you want them anymore. And there are many ways to release those. Meditation is one. So if you resonate with this message, please like and subscribe and share. I am going to talk a little bit more about the perception of reality and about how we can rewire our brain. This is something close to my heart. So stay tuned for more videos on this topic, and have a beautiful day. Bye.